That shield is why certain dangers never reached you, even when you walked unknowingly close to them. It is why doors closed that you did not understand at the time, and why some paths were blocked when you were convinced you needed them. You thought it was delay, disappointment, or misfortune, but it was protection. I did not remove you from every battle, but I limited what could touch you. I allowed lessons, not destruction. I allowed pressure, not loss of purpose. Even when you felt exposed, you were never unguarded. Even when you felt forgotten, you were never unattended. I have been standing between you and what would have broken you, long before you ever learned how to pray. You have wondered why your life has not been ordinary. My resistance followed you even when your heart was sincere. Why challenges appeared when you were simply trying to do good. Hear me clearly. It was never because you were weak. It was because you were marked. Heaven identified you early, long before others noticed you. Long before you recognize your own worth, the heavens declared your purpose. When heaven speaks, creation listens. When I speak, destiny is set in motion. I say to you now what has already been spoken over you. You are chosen. You are not one among many by chance. You were singled out by divine intention. There are countless lives on this earth, but not all are assigned the same covering. Not all are guarded in the same way. Not all are entrusted with the same future. When I say I must protect you, it is because what I placed inside you carries weight. It carries light. It carries a purpose that reaches beyond your own understanding. There are unseen forces that are aware of this, even when you are not. You have felt the pushback, the resistance, the moments when things tried to stop you before you even began. That was not a coincidence. That was recognition. Darkness reacts to light instinctively. A vision rises where purpose is present. But hear this and let it settle deep within you. Awareness of your destiny does not give the enemy authority over you. It only explains why I increased your protection. I have watched over you when you did not know you needed watching. I have redirected paths you never realized you were about to take. I have blocked harm that was already in motion. Some weapons were formed against you, yes, but none were allowed to prosper. Some plans were set in place to discourage you, to delay you, to wear you down, but they failed before they reached you. Not because you fought perfectly, but because I guarded faithfully. Divine favor already covers you. It is not coming later. It is not dependent on your performance. It is not earned through striving. Favor is assigned, and yours was assigned with intention. That is why doors open for you that should not have opened. That is why you survived things that should have destroyed you. That is why you were spared when others around you were not. You do not question this with guilt. Receive it with humility. Favor does not mean ease, but it does mean protection with purpose. I know you have questioned yourself. I know you have wondered if you imagine my hand upon your life. Let me remove all doubt now. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Not the weapon of accusation, not the weapon of fear, not the weapon of delay, not the weapon of confusion. Some were formed, yes, but they were dismantled before completion. Some were aimed, but they lost direction. Some reached you, but they did not finish their work. You are still here because I said you would be. This is why I speak now with urgency, not because danger is winning, but because protection is active. I want you to listen because awareness strengthens covering. When you know who you are, you stop walking as though you are unguarded. When you understand that heaven is involved in your life, you stop shrinking under pressure. You stop apologizing for your existence. You stop mistaking resistance for rejection. You begin to stand differently. You are watched over, not casually, not occasionally, constantly. There are moments when you felt alone, but you were never unguarded. There were nights when you felt exposed, but you were never uncovered. I do not sleep. I do not look away. I will not forget my words. When I declare this one, I must protect myself. I bound my name to your journey, and I do not break covenants. I need you to understand this now. Before you move further, before you question yourself again, the calling on your life is real. The destiny ahead of you is intentional. And the reason you are still standing is because I have been standing with you. This is not arrogance. This is identity. And identity changes how you walk into tomorrow. Do not think that protection means you will never feel pressure. It means pressure will not prevail. Do not think it means you will never be challenged. It means challenges will not define you. You are guarded, not fragile. You are covered, not exposed. You are chosen, not forgotten. And you are destined, not drifting. Listen closely now, because this matters. The season you are entering requires awareness. You cannot walk forward thinking you are unprotected when heaven has already declared otherwise. You cannot keep shrinking when I have already spoken more than you. You cannot doubt your worth when your existence triggers a response in the unseen realm. I am sealing this truth within you. Now you are chosen. That was decided before your struggles. You are guided. That has been proven through your survival. You are destined. That is why the story is not finished. Let this identity settle in your spirit. Let it change how you pray. Let it change how you endure. Let it change how you rise. Stay with me. Listen carefully. Protection is not passive, and destiny is not accidental. Heaven has spoken, and I'm still speaking. You were never overlooked. You were set apart. And I say it again with authority and love intertwined. This one I must protect. My beloved child, before your first breath filled your lungs, before your name was spoken by human lips, I knew you. I did not discover you as time unfolded. I saw you before time ever began to move. I knew the shape of your heart, the weight of your thoughts, the way you would feel deeply and carry questions quietly. I knew the battles you would face and the strength you would need, and I chose you with full awareness of all of it. Nothing about you surprised me. Nothing about you was overlooked. You were known, seen, and wanted before the world ever made room for you. Type, I am fully covered by your grace if you believe he's your unfailing protector. When I formed you, it was not a moment of chance or convenience. Heaven was attentive. Purpose was already present. Long before you became aware of yourself, heaven recognized what I placed inside you. Your life did not begin at birth. It began with my intention. Destiny always comes before awareness. You did not wake up one day and suddenly become significant. You were significant before you ever opened your eyes. The world met you late. I did not. There is a reason you have always felt different, even when you could not explain it. A reason you sensed you did not fully belong in the boxes others seemed comfortable in. The reason you felt set apart, sometimes even isolated without choosing to be. That feeling was not rejection, it was recognition. You were designed with a depth that could not be satisfied by shallow answers. You were shaped with sensitivity that could not survive in careless spaces. You were created with purpose that could not remain hidden forever. I did not make you by accident. I did not rush your creation. I did not borrow parts from others and hoped they would fit. Every detail of you was intentional. Your mind, your emotions, your ability to feel pain and compassion so deeply, your tendency to question, your hunger for meaning, none of these are flaws. They are markers. They are signs of design. What others tried to label as weakness was often evidence of calling. What you tried to suppress was often what I meant to use. Heaven recognized you early, even when earth did not. That is why pressure came before praise. That is why resistance appeared before recognition. The unseen realm responds to purpose long before people do. You were never unnoticed. You were observed closely, watched carefully, guarded intentionally. I did not wait to protect you until you understood who you were. I protected you while you were still discovering it. I claimed responsibility for you before you could claim identity for yourself. You may have questioned your worth because circumstances did not reflect your value. You may have believed you were insignificant because your environment did not affirm you. But hear me now with clarity and calm. Your identity does not come from circumstances. It comes from me. Circumstances shift, opinions change, seasons pass. But what I declared over you before birth does not move. Your identity is rooted in heaven, not in the conditions that surround you on earth. I am the owner of your life, not in a way that confines you, but in a way that covers you. Divine ownership is protection, not control. When I say, you belong to me, I am saying your life is not random, your pain is not wasted, and your future is not unguarded. I hold authority over your life because I carry responsibility for it. I do not abandon what I create. I do not forget what I design. I do not lose what I claim. You were shaped for a time like this. Even if you did not know what that meant, I placed within you the capacity to stand, to endure, to discern, and to love deeply in a world that often avoids depth. That is why you felt things others ignored. That is why injustice unsettled you. That is why silence felt heavy. That is why you longed for truth instead of comfort. These were not random traits. They were seeds planted early, waiting for the right season to rise. Do not be confused by the delay between promise and awareness. Destiny often hides before it reveals itself. Just as a seed lies beneath the soil long before the shoot breaks the surface, so purpose works quietly before it becomes visible. You were not late in becoming who you are. You were being prepared. I allowed time to shape you because what you carry requires depth. Surface-level formation would not have sustained you. I know you have wrestled with questions about your place, your role, your value. I know you have compared yourself to others and wondered why your path felt heavier, slower, or lonelier. Comparison distorts vision. It makes you measure yourself by timelines and standards that were never assigned to you. Your path was not meant to mirror another's. It was meant to fulfill what I wrote specifically for you. Heaven's recognition of you was never dependent on applause. It was not based on achievement or performance. It was based on design. When I look at you, I see my intention reflected back to me. I see purpose in motion, even when you feel uncertain. I see growth in places you think are stagnant. I see strength forming where you think you are fragile. Do not judge yourself by what you feel at the moment. Feelings change design, but not. I want you to rest in this truth. You are not an accident trying to find meaning. You are meaning to discover its expression. You are not wandering without direction. You are unfolding according to intention. Even your questions serve a purpose. Even your doubts sharpen discernment. Even your struggles refine endurance. Nothing about you is wasted when you are held by me. You belong to me, and that belonging gives you identity, not limitation. It frees you from having to prove yourself. It anchors you when the world shifts. It reminds you that your worth was established long before you were tested. When you understand this, you stop chasing validation and start walking in alignment. You stop shrinking to fit spaces that were never designed for you. You stop apologizing for depth in a shallow world. We kindly request your support for our channel. Our work is dedicated to bringing happiness into your life and nurturing devotion to God. If you wish, you may graciously show your support by donating through Super Thanks. Let this settle into you now. Your life began with my intention. Your purpose was recognized by heaven early. Your destiny preceded your awareness. Your difference was design, not defect. Your existence is intentional, not accidental. Your identity is rooted in heaven, not circumstances. I am not discovering you as you go. I am guiding what I already know. Walk forward with this assurance. You are not trying to become someone important. You already are because I declared it. You are not trying to earn protection. You already have it because I claimed you. You are not searching for identity. You are remembering it. And I am with you not as a distant observer, but as the one who knew you first, knows you fully, and will never release what he has intentionally created. My beloved child, Heaven recognized your calling long before others ever did. Before people formed opinions about you, before they understood your heart or misunderstood your silence, there was already acknowledgement in the unseen. The purpose was not first discovered on earth. It is first recognized in heaven. When I place purpose within a soul, it does not go unnoticed. The spiritual realm responds immediately to what I have designed, even while the natural world remains unaware. That is why your journey has felt different from the beginning. Heaven identifies purpose by alignment, not by appearance. I do not look at titles, status, or outward strength. I look at the heart I formed, the depth I placed within you, the capacity I shaped for truth, endurance, and compassion. From the moment you were created, what you carried resonated beyond the physical world. Angels recognized it. The unseen realm responded to it. Not because you were loud, but because you were marked. You did not have to announce yourself. Purpose announces itself in ways you cannot always see. This is why resistance began early in your life, long before you understood what you were called to do. Pressure found you. Confusion tried to surround you. Disruption appeared when you were simply trying to grow. That resistance was not proof of failure. It was evidence of recognition. The unseen does not wait for full maturity to respond to calling. It reacts to potential. It reacts to destiny. And when destiny is present, opposition often arrives early. You wondered why certain things seemed harder for you than for others, why peace felt interrupted, why you faced battles you did not feel prepared for. I want you to hear this clearly. It was never because you were lacking, it was because you were seen. Darkness responds to light instinctively. It does not need full brightness to react. Even a spark draws attention, and you carried that spark before you knew how to protect it. Misunderstanding follows you because people often cannot identify what they have not yet become. When someone walks with depth in a shallow world, misunderstanding is common. When someone carries purpose quietly, others may mislabel it as distance, pride, or strangeness. But what they could not name, heaven already understood. You were not rejected because you were wrong. You were misunderstood because you were early. Isolation was not an accident in your life. It was not a punishment. It was preparation. Some parts of your calling could not be shaped in constant noise. Some strengths could only be built in quiet places. I allowed seasons where you felt set apart so your identity would not be shaped by applause or pressure. When calling is formed too publicly too soon, it becomes fragile. I protected you by shaping you privately. There were times you felt unseen, overlooked, or alone, and those moments hurt deeply. I know that pain. I did not ignore it. But understand this: even when people did not recognize you, heaven never lost sight of you. Even when affirmation was absent, validation was present. You were seen when no one spoke your name. You were acknowledged when no one understood your silence. You were guarded when no one defended you. Angels were aware of your assignment long before you were. That awareness does not mean your path would be easy. It means your life was considered valuable enough to protect, to monitor, to guide. Heaven does not mobilize without reason. The fact that you endured, survived it, and continued even when discouraged is evidence that you were never walking alone. Some of your strength came from help you could not see. Human approval is inconsistent. It shifts with moods, trends, and misunderstanding. Divine validation does not change. I do not validate you based on performance. I validate you based on design. I do not withdraw approval when you struggle. I remain close when you question. Heaven's recognition of you is not fragile. It is not dependent on your confidence. It does not disappear when you doubt yourself. You may have tried to explain yourself to be understood. You may have tried to adjust, to soften, to hide parts of who you are so you could belong. That effort was exhausting because it was never meant to sustain you. You were not created to be validated by everyone. You were created to walk faithfully in what I entrusted to you. When you stop chasing human approval, you begin to feel the relief of divine alignment. The isolation you felt sharpened discernment. It taught you to listen instead of react. It taught you to observe instead of rush. It trained you to sense truth beyond words. Those are not common skills. They are formed in solitude, not crowds. What felt like a delay was actually development. What felt like exclusion was actually protection. Heaven never confused you with someone else. You were never lost in the crowd of creation. Your name was known. Your path was noted. Your growth was observed. Even when you felt invisible, you were seen. Even when you felt forgotten, you were remembered. Even when you felt small, your purpose remained intact. I want you to release the need to be understood by everyone. Understanding is not a requirement for obedience. Approval is not a prerequisite for calling. What matters is alignment with me. When you walk aligned, those meant to recognize you will. Those meant to walk with you will find you. Those meant to learn from you will hear you. You do not need to force recognition. Purpose reveals itself in time. Let this truth settle deeply in you now. Heaven recognized you early. That is why your journey unfolded the way it did. That is why resistance came before recognition. That is why misunderstanding walked beside you. That is why isolation shaped you. None of it was wasted. None of it was random. All of it serves the purpose you are still stepping into. You are seen by heaven. You are known in the unseen. You are acknowledged beyond what human eyes can measure. Walk forward with this assurance. You are not behind. You are not overlooked. You are not forgotten. You are becoming visible in the right season, at the right pace, under the right covering, and I am with you, affirming you not with noise, but with truth that does not fade. My beloved child, the attacks you faced were proof of what you carry, not evidence of what you lack. I want you to hear this without fear, without tension, without the heaviness that often comes when you remember the battles behind you. Struggle has never meant abandonment. Pain has never meant rejection. The pressure you endure did not come because you were weak, but because you were valuable. Opposition does not waste its energy on what has no purpose. When I place calling within a life, it creates movement in the unseen long before results appear in the visible. Darkness reacts instinctively to light. It does not wait until light is fully formed. It responds to even the smallest flame. That is why resistance showed up before you felt ready. That is why challenges appeared when you were still discovering who you were. You were not attacked because you were unprotected. You were attacked because you were recognized. I need you to release the thought that struggle means I stepped away. I never measure my presence by your comfort. I measure it by my faithfulness. I was with you in every moment you questioned. Every night you cried quietly. Every season you wondered if something was wrong with you. I did not leave you to fight alone. I strengthen you in ways you did not always notice. Survival itself was evidence of my nearness. Pain in your life was not punishment. It was never payment for mistakes. It was never proof that you failed me. Henova accompanies purpose because purpose requires deeve. Depth is not formed in ease. Endurance is not built in absence of pressure. I did not cause your pain, but I did not waste it either. I used it to sharpen discernment, to deepen compassion, to anchor humility, and to build resilience you will need ahead. You have asked yourself why things seemed harder for you than for others, why progress felt slow, why battles felt personal. Let me reframe this for you gently. Some people are not opposed because they are not yet a threat. Some paths are smooth because they do not lead anywhere significant. Resistance often marks a path that matters. Not every struggle is meaningful, but the patterns you endured were not random. They followed your growth. They intensified as you matured. That is not a coincidence. Darkness reacts to light because light exposes. You carry truth in the way you see, in the way you question, in the way you refuse to accept shallow answers. It unsettles systems built on illusion. You may not have spoken loudly, but your presence itself disrupted what relied on silence and conformity. That is why the opposition tried to confuse you, distract you, or wear you down. But confusion never destroys you. Distraction never finished its work. Weariness slowed you, but it did not end you. You are still here. I want you to look back now, not with sorrow, but with clarity. Those battles you thought disqualified you actually confirmed you. The fact that you endured means authority was already forming within you. Authority is not loud confidence. It is quite stable under pressure. It is the ability to stand without becoming hardened. It is the strength to keep loving without losing discernment. You were being trained even when you did not know it. Say, and quote, "The Lord himself is my mighty shield," and quote, "If he's guarding every corner of your heart, remove shame from your suffering." Shame tells you that pain means something is wrong with you. That is not true. Shame isolates. Truth restores. You do not need to hide your scars. They are not evidence of weakness. They are evidence of survival and growth. You did not lose value because you struggled. You gained depth because you endured. There is no shame in battles you did not choose but survived. I did not give the opposition authority over you. I limited it. That is why it could pressure you but not destroy you. That is why it could delay you but not erase you. That is why it could wound you but not define you. Spiritual authority grows when you learn who you are despite what comes against you. Every time you chose to stand again, even quietly, authority was strengthened within you. You are not meant to fear opposition. You are meant to understand it. Fear comes from misunderstanding. Understanding brings peace. When you know that attacks came because of calling, you stop internalizing them as personal failure. You stop asking what is wrong with me and begin to see something valuable is being protected. That shift changes how you carry yourself moving forward. I am not calling you to revisit pain endlessly. I am calling you to see it accurately. The enemy aimed to break you, but instead you became stronger. The pressure was meant to silence you, but instead you learned discernment. The struggle was meant to harden you, but instead it softened you with wisdom. That is not a loss. That is transformation. Your authority now is not theoretical, it has been tested. You know what it feels like to be pressed and still stand. You know what it feels like to doubt and still move forward. You know what it feels like to feel weak and still endure. That knowledge cannot be taken from you. It did not come from books or teachings. It came from lived experience under my covering. I want you to stop seeing yourself as someone who barely survived. You are someone who was refined. You are not fragile. You are forged. You are not behind. You are seasoned. Carry this understanding with humility, not pride. Authority, rooted in humility, is powerful because it does not need to prove itself. Moving forward, do not be surprised if the opposition still notices you. That does not mean danger is increasing. It means your light is clear, but you will not face it the same way anymore. You will face it with awareness, not confusion, with peace, not panic, with trust, not fear. You know now that struggle does not mean abandonment. You know now that pain can serve a purpose. You know now that darkness reacts because light is present. Let this truth settle deep within you. The attacks you faced were proof of what you carry. They were not signs that you were losing. They were signs that you mattered and you are still standing. Not because you fought perfectly, but because I held you faithfully. Walk forward with confidence grounded in truth. My bravado, you are not walking into the future untested or unaware. You are walking with authority formed through endurance, guided by me and covered as always. My beloved child, I placed a guard around you even when you could not see it. There were moments in your life when danger was closer than you realized, when harm was already moving in your direction, when one small shift could have changed everything. You did not always sense it. You did not always feel fear, but I was there watching, redirecting, and intervening quietly. Your survival was not accidental. Your preservation was not luck. It was my intention. There were near misses you dismissed as coincidence. Moments you called good timing or random chance. A delay that frustrated you. A change of plan that felt inconvenient. A door that closed when you were sure it should open. In those moments, you could not see what I was diverting. You could not see the path you almost took, the harm that waited there, the weight that would have fallen on you had you arrived a moment earlier or later. I redirected you without announcement, because protection does not always announce itself. I know there were times you questioned why things did not work out the way you expected. You wondered why certain relationships ended suddenly, why certain opportunities slipped away, why certain places never felt right even when they looked promising. You felt disappointment, even grief. But what you could not see was how I was guiding you away from harm that would have cost you deeply. I spared you from things that would have wounded your spirit in ways that would take years to heal. I placed a guard around you in moments when you felt most exposed. Nights when your heart felt vulnerable. Seasons when your mind feels heavy. Times when you were unsure of your footing. You thought you were standing alone, but you were never unguarded. Even when you felt weak, the covering around you did not weaken. My presence does not depend on your awareness. I am present because I choose to be. There were moments when you came close to making decisions that would have altered your life painfully. Words you always said, steps you almost took, commitments you always made. I intervened gently. I stirred unease. I slowed your pace. I placed hesitation where certainty would have harmed you. You thought it was anxiety or confusion. It was protection. I was not confusing you. I was shielding you. Angels were assigned to guard you, not because you demanded it, not because you earned it, but because your life carried purpose worth protecting. Heaven does not dispatch guardians without reason. You were not overprotected. You were valued. They watched over paths you did not see, guarded moments you do not remember, stood between you and harm. When you were unaware of the danger, you were not spared because you were lucky. You were spared because you were covered. I want you to understand this deeply now, because trust grows when memory is refrained. Look back and notice how many times you should have been broken but were not. How many times fear should have overtaken you but did not. How many times circumstances should have swallowed you but somehow released you instead. That was not your strength alone. That was my hand holding the weight so it would not crush you. I was present when you walked through places that could have consumed you. Present when you faced people who meant harm but could not complete their intentions. Present when words were spoken against you that should have shattered your confidence but did not fully take root. I limited what was allowed to reach you. I filtered what could touch your spirit. I did not promise you a life without danger, but I promised you a life not left undefended. There were moments when you wondered why you were still standing when others were not. That question carried guilt for you. You wondered why you were spared, why you survived, why you escaped when others fell. Do not carry that guilt. Survival does not mean superiority, it means assignment. I preserved you because your story was not finished. I guarded you because what you carry is still needed. Even when you wandered, I did not remove the guard. Even when you doubted, I did not withdraw my presence. Protection is not fragile. It does not shatter when you question. It does not disappear when you hesitate. My faithfulness does not rise and fall with your clarity. I remained steady while you learned. I remained watchful while you grew. You did not always feel protected because protection is often quiet. It works best when it does not draw attention to itself. Loud protection can create fear. Quiet protection builds trust over time. Now I am allowing you to see what you could not see then, not to frighten you, but to reassure you. You were never as exposed as you thought. You were never as alone as you felt. You were never as vulnerable as your emotions suggested. Type, I trust God's perfect timing if you believe delay is only preparation, not denial, and share this video.